When I'm 12, I fill out a form to join a creative writing group for ages 13 and up. I lay in bed that night thinking about the application form. I won't be 13 for at least another month. I sweat profusely, my stomach in thick, sensitive knots. This is a physical state I will manage to sustain throughout most of puberty. At 22, I sit in a cold, damp bedroom in the north of England, attending a creative writing master's workshop via Zoom. The mold on my ceiling grows like a shadow as winter passes. In a few months, I walk to the hospital after a case of fungal pneumonia because I'm not sure I can afford the taxi and worry that getting an ambulance will mean that I will die. On the laptop screen, my pale, pixelated face nods in agreement as I am told how I could be better. I am enthusiastic in my agreement. I still am. I think this to myself when I look at my work, look at my skin, look at my text messages, look at my shopping receipts. I could be better. It's not quite the future tense, but I believe optimism is the most pragmatic tool I can hold. Inside her small, glowing Zoom box, one of my classmates questions my use of stomachs. My characters frequently feel their emotions here. Stomachs turn, twist, spin, whirl, hop about from page to page. Don't we feel in more than one place in our bodies? She asks. Do we? I wonder. During my pneumonia fit, I thought I was having a heart attack. I struggle to locate spots of pain accurately. When I think about my insides, I picture a slick, hissing pit, wet organs snaking around each other in the gloom. At 12, I'm a walking stomach. It's an over-turbulent cave that stretches from skull to toe. Everything gets sucked in and spun around in that dark. Every time I try to look another person in the eye, I feel like I will vomit. My internal temperature rises 10 degrees and my guts twist around so tight that the pain makes my mouth water while looking at their pupils. I learn to look at people's noses while talking to them to avoid further nausea. I want to join a creative writing group because I think I like writing. That might be true. It's very possible even. What I do definitely like, a neat black biro tick in the margin of my English copybook, a small smile from a teacher when she hands it over, being told in a quiet, private voice that I am good, which really means, I see you, and I understand what you are saying, and I love you, all at once. I'm bad at a lot of things, almost everything, including translation, and this is a very easy thing to mistranslate. The first time I win a writing competition, I think about a room of people making the decision. I walk to school in the cool morning air and imagine it. The room of people have warm, friendly faces, but they are also reassuringly generic. Sexless, ageless. Maybe they don't have faces at all. Maybe they are simply tall pairs of legs below soft woolen jumpers, long arms that reach down to hold me and look at me in that comfortable spot between my eyes. I love you, they all say in unison. You are good, and because of this, you have all this love. Here, they say, and hand it to me. Let it warm you. And though they have no faces, I imagine that they smile. By the end of my master's, I confessed to my classmates that I'm not sure if I write because I like writing or if I write because I just really want people to like me. Before this, in the early spring with frost still staining the campus green, we have our first in-person lecture. Everyone looks strange and uncomfortably tall in 3D outside of my laptop. We sit at stiff desks 6 feet apart. A young man behind me states to the class that the only reason he writes, the only person he writes for, is himself, totally and completely. He quotes Proust and Nietzsche in a crisp, clean accent to prove his point. And I think it's ridiculous. Because surely he is lying. I glance around, looking at the others' faces for confirmation of this feeling. But everyone is wearing a face mask and 6 feet is far. When the lecturer asks if anyone feels differently, I stick up my hand. If it was just for me, I'd probably just keep a diary, I say. But this, again, is a mistranslation. What I really mean is, other people sometimes tell me I'm good at writing, and I worry writing might be the only thing about me that is good. And it's a wonderful thing to have something good. It's the only thing that matters. Surely this is how we all feel, I am trying and failing to say. I love doing the creative writing group with Waterford Youth Arts. I don't remember doing any writing during it at all. I love it at 12 and 13, 14, 15, 16. I dislike many things during these years. Maths, French, mushrooms, sweet corn, coffee, my alarm in the morning. My body, my voice, my home. I practice speaking in front of a mirror in the bathroom. Wonder how other girls talk and laugh with each other without any private rehearsal at all. But these things seem muted on Saturday afternoons at the writing group. I wake early and excited, spend too much time on makeup, speed walk to the library in a sloppy red lip that I'll never grow into. Arrive late, but happy. It's the happiest I feel for most of the week. School is bad, home is bad, but the library is the happiest place I can imagine. With its tall, crisp walls, rows of neatly organized novels, those wide, clean windows where all the light pours in. It's safe and orderly and sanitized like a doctor's office, a place where you go to be taken care of, looked after, knowing someone sensible must be in charge. This is how the afternoon goes. A late arrival, coats off, laughing, the small, warm room on the uppermost floor of the library, filled with high-pitched chatter, Dove deodorant, milky sun. Pens scooped out of duffel bags, notebooks from those organized enough to remember them. The glossy, intricate designs of the covers, like fluttering beetle wings opening up. The sound of ripping paper as sheets are torn out and passed around for the disorganized. Frequently me. In adulthood, I buy an ugly notebook once a year, so I don't feel bad when I throw it out when it's full. I feel discomfort looking at my handwriting in a container that's too nice. Ink is horrifying because it's permanent, and the easier the vessel is to dispose, the more relief I feel. There is some people dislike writing on a laptop, but I can't imagine anything more freeing. There is such joy in the blank Word document, the anonymity of Times New Roman. It is a space where you can make something new, isolated, something that feels completely separate to personal weakness. Your poor penmanship, your apish fists gripping the biro too tight. But here, only the tidy lines of letters, the forgiveness of the backspace button, the merciful push of the delete key, and everything can begin again. We can do it over, and then over some more. Being able to play with something is fluidity, is creation, is just very fun. I don't have a laptop for the first few years of attending the creative writing group, but I do have a lot of fun, which is the only point that has any importance. The class is divided into two parts. We begin at 2, break at 3, finish at 4. The break lasts 15 minutes, but also seems to stretch the full 2 hours. If maths is work, this is the opposite of work. This is silly, and this is funny, and this is joyful. Being bad at something or not being bad at something doesn't seem to be the focus in this time frame. During the 2-hour window, talking with other girls suddenly makes sense, as does the sound of my own voice, as does the feel of my skin over my bones, my body moving through the world. It's less about learning and more like stretching. Inch by inch, week by week, you discover that you've grown. I often refer to my writing as my work. They're rarely my short stories, they're my work. I won't say I have been writing a book. Instead, I've been working on the collection. I'm protective of my laziness and allergic to artistic esotericism, so I think this has become a natural defense. Artists can make art and I can work. Feels practical, like something measurable and under my control. But I think this is a mistake on my part. If the writing is work, I would become a French translator. But it is never really work, and that word is never really right. I don't remember writing during the writing group because I don't remember working. I don't remember writing during our group, but I know I must have because I find a drawer filled with sheets of old poems when I come back from college. The paper is thin, translucent with time, and the poems are very bad. I think that they're so bad that I throw them all out, which is another mistake. It's wonderful that the poems are bad. It's a lovely thing that I am a terrible poet. I love that they are sentimental and poorly written and strewn with plagiarism and purple lyricism. I love that I can never send them to an agent or sell them to a publisher. I love that these are not a product of work, but simply the clumsy, eager results of the purest kind of play. The problem with writing to make people like you is that not everyone will like your writing. The problem is that even if they do, your writing is not you, even if it's easy to mistake the two. When I now receive good news about my quote-unquote work, I automatically scan the news for holes. Is this person being honest? Do I value their opinion? Do they feel bad for me? Is their praise truth or kindness? Does one person's opinion even matter at all? If it's a room of people, it's just a room of people who have made a mistake. And there is another group of people right next door who will see all the flaws. I don't use the term imposter syndrome because maybe some people just aren't good. However, badness and goodness are slippery terms that slide about that scale. No one can ever give you that piece of paper that will finally tell you where you stand because another can walk in and just blow it all away. I don't think youth arts are important because they create working, professional, good artists. I don't think it matters that they teach creative career skills or that they help you to improve an artistic craft. They matter because they create a rare, special thing, a place to play. To talk about writing, to talk about creativity, to talk about art, is to talk about play. Pediatrician and psychoanalyst Donald Woods Winnicott says about this act, "It is in playing and only in playing that the individual child or adult is able to be creative and to use the whole personality. And it is only in being creative that the individual discovers the self. Play for children, for adults, is the whole point. Creating a thing that is of you, that is not you, that is an experiment and a game and a joke and a lie and a dare and a way to navigate the turbulent cave inside the shadowed stomach of yourself. I sometimes forget how much fun I have at play. These are the times when I also forget how to write. I worry it is gone, and with it, the goodness gone forever. Then, unstoppable as growth, I remember that I love fun, the opposite of work. The time for play begins, and with it, the words always come.